from a time where, these issues continued for sometimes like years. I mean, there could be like a routine issue, there could be like, a force measure, there could be other issues that required the concession period to be extended. And there was a tendency for both sides, I mean, the government as well as the concessionaire, to make this long drawn, kind of take it on and continue with these issues for a very prolonged period. Now, that tendency from both sides seem to have reduced. There is easier and faster resolution, which is seen as a need of the hour, and that's recognized by the government. And to the extent possible, the government seems to also be responding in a way that they come to the table, sit across the table with the concessionaire, and look at resolving the issues, documenting it in the form of a settlement agreement, and moving forward. There are also more recent reforms or other like policy changes that the government has brought in, where they've introduced Sarod as a more determinable, wing or other a tool to bring resolution to disputes, and where the disputes are of higher value, they are advocating a judicial or a court process, a civil court process, as against a sitting down table and have like back and forth protracted negotiations in the form of conciliation. So to some extent, this is aimed to kind of bring more focus to issues that are critical, that are the need of the hour, and to also have a focused and a reliable settlement mechanism than having back and forth and dialogue, which sometimes may not be fruitful. So to that extent, yes, resolution of disputes that you see in the highway sector, which is also a day in, day out part of the sector, the nature of the sector being such. From long drawn issues, the focus is shifted to easy resolution, quick resolution, and closure of issues. The concession agreements, or rather the MCAs, the model concession agreements, are revised on a timely and periodic basis, depending on how the sector evolves, the market changes that are required, and the regulatory interfacing. For example, I mean, say around 2 years back, the shareholding lock-in restriction for a BOT project, from 2 years, it was brought down to 1 year consciously by the NHAI by amending the concession. So this enables asset monetization to happen quicker, and for private capital to come into a project as soon as it's commissioned. For HAM, it's 6 months, even faster. So things like that, or changes like that, which enables the market to function smoother, and for the private and the public interfacing to happen in a more efficient manner, is something that NHI has been more or less, I mean, talking about an NHI project, has been proactively implementing. And what I also see is that, as is customary, once the NHI implements those, modifications of the concession, the state governments also seem to follow suit. So in that sense, yes, I mean, the changes to the model concession agreements are welcome, but I guess the manner in which it is implemented, or it's the publicization of that those changes, and to what effect are they reaching the concessionaire, maybe that dialogue or the communication of implementing it, that part needs to be a little more efficiently looked at by the government, because there have been instances where concessionaires assumed something as per the contract, and we've seen instances where they've not been made aware of the change. So if it is something that affects ongoing concessions, I think a one-on-one distribution by the government to each and every concessionaire could bring in a little more efficiency and transparency into the fact that these changes have been brought in. Otherwise, I think it's a very welcome move.